you ever hear about a film every once in a while and decide to buy it on a whim, not really knowing anything about it past the poster and its name? That was me in High Fidelity. I was basically completely blind about this movie. All I knew was the poster and the fact that everyone seemed to love the film. I found it in my local Poundland and decided to watch it a week or two later, and I then spent 2 hours completely encapsulated into how relatable I found the movie. The film stars John Cusack playing a character called Rob. Rob is a music-obsessed guy who owns his own record shop. At the record shop, we have Barry and Dick played by Jack Black and Todd Luizzo. At the record store, the guys basically slack around and discuss music with an almost encyclopedic knowledge. Rob is currently going through a really painful breakup with his girlfriend Laura, which causes him to reassess himself and leads him to try and work out why his past relationships have failed. There are very few movies that manage to portray music geeks in such an accurate and relatable way. Their conversations don't seem like just something a guy wrote down and a group of people spoke. They seem incredibly natural, which is because the writing is so damn good and the performances are even more incredible. I haven't read the book that is based on, so I don't know how much of it takes from that book and how much of the film is completely new, but the script of this film is just fantastic. The opening monologue perfectly introduces you to the film and tells you instantly what the film is about. Much of the movie is narrated by John Cusack, who constantly breaks the fourth wall to talk to the audience in a very Ferris Bueller style. This style is something that is incredibly hard to pull off, but is done so well in this film. Instead of feeling like John Cusack just switches out of character when he speaks to us, he still acts and speaks like he would to one of his friends in the movie, to the point where we as the audience feel much more a part of the movie. We feel like we are one of the characters because John Cusack keeps speaking to us directly. His performance in the film is definitely the most standout thing about it. Of course, there are other great things about the film, but his performance is just so great that he makes every single scene he's in so entertaining to watch. The character is incredibly well written. He feels like the everyman. He's simple yet complex, and John Cusack does a great job of portraying that without ever making him seem fake or over the top. Jack Black does a really good job in the movie as the highly opinionated music snob who hates anyone who disagrees with his opinion or doesn't seem worthy of listening to good music. He does basically just play himself, but he does it incredibly well, and the scenes of him snapping at people in the music store are hilarious. The framing device of Rob recounting his past relationships adds a huge weight to the character and makes him feel like a real person with a real story. It not only makes us sympathize with him, but it also makes us realize that sometimes even seemingly good people can be dicks. After the film ended, I found myself questioning who I am as a person in a similar way to Rob in the film, something that adds a huge depth and rewatchability to the film. The best films are the ones that stick with you and make you think about yourself. Stephen Frears' direction is fantastic. It's very vibrant, fast-paced, and it does a fantastic job of painting the portrait of the characters. Of course, as it's a film so heavily surrounded by music, we have to talk about the soundtrack. This film has one of the best soundtracks to any film I've ever seen. It's full of everything, including the 13th Floor Elevators, Elton John, Liz Phair, Bruce Springsteen, Love, The Chemical Brothers, The Velvet Underground, Aretha Franklin, Queen, Elvis Costello, Bob Dylan, The Kinks, Stevie Wonder. This is a film that ends with Jack Black covering Marvin Gaye. This is the perfect soundtrack. High Fidelity is a hilarious, touching, and well-written film with a fantastic soundtrack, incredible performances, and a fantastic message. It comes highly recommended.